What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, man. Although Nation, it's your boy, Rodrick Zalunya, man. And before I start this video or get into anything concerning this video, number one, I want to thank you guys for supporting me all through the years. The guys who have been watching my videos, I don't take it for granted. So thank you for that. Number one. Number two, happy 2025, happy new year to you guys. And remember, if you're not able to crush your goals last year in 2024, this is the year to crush your fucking goals, bro. Let's go. You guys, me, we are going to keep each other accountable, right? You keep me accountable on this channel. I'll keep you accountable on the comments, right? If you have a goal or if you have goals that you want to achieve, bro, this is the year to do it, right? If you want it, you can get it, but you gotta work for it, man. You gotta work hard for it, right? That's why I want to be posting on this channel, if possible, daily. So you guys are going to keep me accountable. And just like last year, bro, this year on this channel, we do not watch porn. We do not masturbate, god damn it. Okay? Those are the two starting points to become a better man. Remember on this channel, man, we talk about men's things affecting us men in our day-to-day lives. So if you want to start becoming a better man, a better version of yourself, where to start from is number one, stop masturbating, bro. Number two, stop watching porn. Those things go hand in hand. Stop watching porn, stop masturbating. Your life will become better. You'll start seeing better results in your life. Okay? And like I told you, I want to thank you guys for watching. For those guys who have been watching my videos, I want to thank you, man. The OGs, I want to thank you. The new guys here, man, subscribe to the channel, bro. More videos are going to be coming your way, right? And I want you guys to relate to what I'm saying. I know you guys are going to relate to what I'm saying because I've made so many mistakes, man, in my life. I've made so many mistakes in my life. And somebody said that an intelligent person learns from their own mistakes, but a wise person learns from other people's mistakes. So I want you guys to learn from my mistakes, the mistakes I made. Those are the things I'm going to be talking about on this channel, right? And I told you from a previous video that 95 to 98% of everything I say on this channel are things that I've experienced personally, right? Those are the things I've experienced personally, and I want you guys to learn from my mistakes. Let's get right into the video. So, from the title of the video is the things I learned working in a mental asylum. Yeah, guys, I once worked in a mental asylum. So the year was 2020, right? After COVID struck, fortunately or unfortunately, COVID struck. Prior to that, I had a business. It was doing very well, right? I was making approximately, and I don't want to say the amount because it said that a wise person does not reveal, how much they make or how much they have made. So I won't reveal that, but it was a good amount of money, right? So prior to COVID, I had started a business in 2017. COVID hit in 2020. So I had run that business for around 3 years, right? For 3 years, I was making some good amount of money. But when COVID came, it disrupted everything. It was a mixture of many factors that disrupted the business, but COVID was the last blow. So COVID came, there was lockdown, curfews, everything. But the first time the lockdown was lifted, meaning people could travel from point A to point B, maybe from Kisii to Kisumu, from Kisumu to Nairobi, from Mombasa to Nairobi, right? When that happened, I decided to, switch towns. I went from Nairobi to Mombasa, right? I had a sister in Mombasa, and I talked to her and told her, is there any chance that I could come? Maybe I was ready to start from scratch. I was ready to start from scratch, and that's a point I'm going to put in the things I learned, right? Working in that mental asylum. So I was ready to start from scratch, but then I want to also thank my sister who stays in Mombasa. I want to thank her for giving me that opportunity and for everything she has ever done for me. I'm usually thankful and grateful. And Just like the people who are in 2025, man, you have to be thankful, you have to be grateful. Some people didn't make it to this year, man, so you gotta be thankful, you gotta be grateful. Just know that God is not done with you yet. If you're breathing in 2025, you have goals, you gotta crush them, man. God is not done with you yet. God is not finished with you yet, so don't give up, man. Let's go. So I decided to move to Mombasa to change the scenery. I got there, I wrote the application, blah blah blah. Remember, I didn't have a degree because prior to that I had stopped my university studies, right, to focus on my business, which by then was a good decision because my business is doing well, right? So I didn't have a degree, so but I thank God my sister was working in a certain hospital called Jocham. By the way, this video is not sponsored by Jocham. I'm not promoting them in any way. It's just a hospital I worked in. So Jocham Hospital is where I worked. I worked in a rehabilitation center, but man, that was like a mental asylum. You'll see why. So I went to Mombasa. I wrote my application, took it there, and I started working. So the pay, the job description was this: you work from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's 12 hours. The pay was 12, not 1200, 700 in a day. So yeah, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., 12 hours. The pay was 700 in a day, and the job itself wasn't even that stable, right? The job wasn't stable. How do I mean when I say that the job wasn't stable? A patient had to be brought in, an addict had to be brought in who was to be rehabilitated. A drug addict who was to be rehabilitated had to be brought in. Then you are given a call so that you can come and take care of the patient. So we had morning shift or day shift and night shift. So imagine you're praying to God, to open your ways, to get more, to get called more in the job. Meaning that you're praying for people to become addicts so that you can get consistent employment. But it is what it is, man. Those guys being brought there, they were drug addicts. So we guys who are looking after them were called surveillance. So drug addicts were both male and female, but most of them were men, right? Because you know that it's men who go through a lot. We go through a lot in life. We go through a lot in our everyday life, and if you are not able to control yourself, you'll get that you're addicted to drugs, alcohol, blah blah blah. So that's what was happening. And remember, this hospital was in Mombasa. Mombasa, drugs are rampant and all that kind of stuff: cocaine, heroin, alcohol, all that kind of stuff was being used there. So those patients were being brought. Then you are given a code. We also had a dress code. You had to dress in a light blue shirt and I think navy blue trousers. Yeah. So that was the dress code. So I worked there for a while, and there are some lessons I learned that are in our day-to-day lives that I picked, that I use still now, right? So these are the lessons that I learned working in a mental asylum, aka rehabilitation center. Number one, I learned to be humble. Bro, imagine I was this guy making thousands at a very young age. Very young age, making thousands, nobody could tell me shit. Nobody could tell me nothing. I was this knucklehead who thought I knew everything. I didn't want to learn. I didn't want to listen to anybody. Then everything comes crumbling down. I realized that God can take everything away from you just like that, to test you. God can take everything away. You might be on top of the world today, bro, but you gotta learn to be humble, man. You gotta learn to be humble. Me, right now, I say the more money you make, the more humble I'll become. The more money you make, the more humble I'll become. Because I know God can take it away from me quick, just like that, bro. It happened to me. I'm telling you things that I experienced personally. So I had to learn to be humble, right? I had to learn to take a step back because God showed me, hey, I can take this away from you in an instant. So I had to learn to be humble. I had to learn to listen. Listen more than you speak. I had to learn to respect people. Because here I was this guy riding on this high horse today, tomorrow, back down. At we call them odd jobs. At odd jobs, man, which have worked. I've even done masonry. In our country, we call it mjengo. I've done them. So don't think I'm talking just because I'm talking, bro. These things I've experienced. So I learned to be humble. I had to learn to be humble the hard way. And I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful I passed through all that. Because right now, bro, and I think I'm a humble guy, right? Because like I told you, the more money I make, the more humble um, I'll become. So number two, the second lesson I learned working in a mental asylum, aka rehabilitation center, I learned to appreciate the value of money. I learned. Remember, the pay was 700 in a day, and the job was not even consistent. You can get a patient coming. The patient comes. You are assigned the guy. So it was like this. The patient comes. You assigned the guy, the patient. We guys who looked after these patients were called surveillances. We were called surveillance. So the patient comes. You assign. Um, 6 to 6. The pay is 700. You have to make sure this guy eats. You have to make sure they take medicine. You have to make sure you are there. If they maybe urinate on the beddings, you have to take the bedding somewhere for them to be washed. We had patients who are very very old, right? They could not hold their bowels could not hold their urine during the process of rehabilitation. So they used to just do it on the bed. They urinate on the bed. The good thing is that nobody used to soil themselves on the bed. So if this guy could not walk, because some drugs were very very strong for even these guys to walk, so you have to take them to the bathroom and wash them, right? Are you with me? You have to take them to the bathroom and wash them. So there was a guy there was a certain time there was a guy I was assigned to. I won't say his name for confidentiality. An old man near almost my granddad's age. By the way, both my granddads have passed away. May their souls rest in peace. So this guy, almost my granddad's age, I think it was 80 years. 80 years. So this guy, I had to take him to the bathroom, and start washing him, bro. Man, I'm telling you, I had to learn to be humble. I'm going back to point number. I had to learn to be humble, man. These jobs, this working in this mental asylum taught me how to be humble, man. Right? But it's a good thing, man. Being humble is a good thing. I appreciate it. So I also had to learn the value of money, because the reason why we're going through all that is because to show you that all that work just for 700. Now this 700 doesn't come as 700 because you are not given cash. It's taken to the bank account that you gave the hospital to put your money in, and the tax is cut, pay, all those things, right? So I learned the value of money in the sense that I put my money in important things. Remember, prior to that, in my business, I never valued money because money was coming in every week. I was getting money every week. I go wherever I want. I splash the money. I take alcohol, blah blah blah. By the way, I also quit taking alcohol when I was in Mombasa, which is going to be a future video. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, by the way, subscribe, because more videos are coming, man. I told you. I hope that I'll push myself to be posting almost daily, if possible. So I had to quit alcohol, because I wanted to put my money in more important things. I learned the value of money. So this money wasn't coming at 700. I think it was coming even at, after all the tax, maybe 500, 550 at most, right? And the job wasn't even consistent, like I told you. What used to happen is, The moment a patient comes, you get called. And remember, we are many of us. So if you get a call, you are lucky, right? The patient comes, they do their rehabilitation. Once they are done, they are discharged. When they are discharged, you're also discharged. You have to wait for another patient to come. That's why I was telling you, man, when you pray to God, when you're in that job, you pray to God, it's counterintuitive. It's like you're praying for people to become addicted so that you can get a job. It's counterintuitive, but man, it is what it is. So the second lesson I learned is to appreciate the value of money. After food, shelter, clothing, those are the three basic needs you put your money in. More important things, maybe like business, right? Even the point of food, shelter, clothing, I decided not to live in a fancy place, right? Because there was no money to live in a fancy place. I never used to eat fancy foods, right? I never used to buy fancy clothes. Even up to this point, right? I don't buy fancy clothes. I just buy clothes. You'll never see me wear designer, by the way. Very difficult. I like wearing plain things. Like right now, I'm wearing this plain vest. No, you'll never see me wearing Gucci. I'm not throwing any shade on people who like wearing designer. That's for you. But for me, remember I told you on the point of improving yourself, fitness, fashion, finances. On the fashion side, I'll also be talking about the fashion side. That's why you need to subscribe to the channel and share this channel with your bro, your cousin, your dad, your granddad, your bro, man. Share this channel. Tell them to subscribe because I'm going to be dropping videos talking about things that are going to be very relatable to you guys. The third point that I learned working in that mental asylum, I had to go back to the gym, bro. I had to go. That was a must. I had to go back to the gym. Why? We were working with drug addicts, right? Who are mentally unstable due to the drugs they were given. The rehabilitation drugs make these guys unstable. Hallucinations. These guys have hallucinations. They do crazy stuff. Crazy things, man. So, some of them during that rehabilitation stage, they became like they're crazy. Someone can sneak up on you and give you one punch, right? Others in Mombasa, if you know Mombasa very well, Mombasa is an area where people like boxing, right? People, they love boxing in Mombasa. We had some drug addicts being brought there who were boxers, right? They were boxers. So if you are not keen, or if you are not ready, if you couldn't handle yourself physically, or didn't have the physical strength to take them down, bro, there were so many cases of people being knocked out, and we had to help one another, right? You could hear somebody screaming in a certain room in the ward. You had to run there and help them. Or you hear somebody screaming, you have to run and help them because maybe the next day will be you. I thought to myself, no, I have to go back to the gym. I working out. But then I started working out in 2019 before COVID hit. I started working out in 2019. So when COVID hit, I stopped. Going back to Mombasa, I told myself, bro, I have to go back to the gym so that this job can be easier for me on the physical side, right? This job could be easier for me on the physical side. So I had to go back to the gym. I had to learn how to defend myself also in the gym. So we had to, bro. We had to, because man, those guys during that process of rehabilitation, these guys were acting very, very unstable mentally. They were very mentally unstable. Somebody could come and tell you, please kindly, can you take me for a walk? They were allowed to walk, get fresh air around the hospital's compound. You tell them no, you are still mentally unstable. This guy wants to fight you, man. If you're not ready, or if you're not physically, man, you are on the negative side. So I had to go back to the gym, pump some iron and be ready for anything. But that was back then. Right now, I just work out for my mental stability. Me personally, I work out so I don't kill myself, bro. People work out for many reasons. Me, I work out so I don't kill myself, right? For my mental stability. The fourth lesson that I learned working in a mental asylum, aka rehabilitation center, I learned how to make deep conversation. Now, if you know me very well, I'm not a guy who likes making small talk. I'm not a guy who likes small talk. I'm not a guy who has many friends. I usually say that I have very few friends who I can sit down and have deep conversation with, because I think, not I think, I know that most people are fake. So I don't like making deep conversation with most people. But in the hospital, in that mental hospital, or in that rehabilitation center, you had to, because these guys, maybe some of them were lonely, they don't have anyone to talk to. That's why they dive deep into drugs. And you know, Mombasa, like I told you, is a hub of drugs, cocaine, heroin, mandrax, alcohol, weed, all kinds of drugs are there. So these guys could, some of them just needed someone to talk to. You sit down, have a conversation with them, they tell you what they're going through, why they're using drugs, right? So I had to learn that. And that has helped me so much. Even up to now, I can strike a conversation with anyone. We go deep, right? Listening more than talking. Remember, 2 ears, one mouth. Listen more than you speak. 2 ears, one mouth. Listen more, speak less. Right? That's what I learned. Deep conversations. Listen. Right? People like talking about themselves. So whenever you sit down with someone, just give them the space to talk. Let them talk. Let them talk. If you listen to someone long enough, they'll tell you who they really are. So that's a lesson I learned. Right? I learned to have deep conversation. I remember there's this guy, this old man also. I'll never forget him. The old man I was talking about in the previous point. This guy, I talked to him. He used to tell me so much. So whenever his wife came to visit him, I think he used to tell his wife, "Yo, this guy is good to me because he listens, blah blah blah." Whenever the wife comes to visit and leaves, she used to give me 200, maybe 300, 400, 500. On the day that this guy was released, the wife gave me 1,000. Bro, I was so happy. I was so happy. And that was the time that I learned that deep conversations are very important, because you never know where they can take you to. Because in business, you need deep conversations for somebody to do what? To trust you as their business partner. Final point, I learned the value of friendship. Because like I told you, remember, these guys were very mentally unstable and they could start chaos anytime, right? That's the first point under the value of friendship. These guys were very mentally unstable and they could start trouble or chaos anytime. So if you hear somebody needs help, you have to run. All of you have to run to that, because you never knew the amount of energy that this drug addict or this patient had. So they had to be held down before you call the nurse or the doctor to give them a sedative for them to go back to sleep. Right? That's one point. Point number two, I learned the value of friendship, even financially. Financially, me, when what I usually do, like whether I work out or not, but mostly when I work out, I usually skip breakfast and I push lunch maybe between 12 to 2. I skip breakfast and push lunch between 12 to 2. So somebody could come to you in the morning. Me, like, my body is used to not eating breakfast and maybe even lunch. I can push lunch 12 to 2. I start eating at 2 p.m. So somebody could come to you, "Hey, yo man, I haven't eaten. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten breakfast. Blah blah blah." You listen to this guy and you're like, man, I've got this. Just you listen, because you know that tomorrow you might fall into the same problem. Remember, problems don't end, man. Even rich people have got rich people problems, right? So everyone has got problems. Problems do not end, right? And prior to my point, I told you that I never valued friendship, right? I never valued friendship because I know that most people are fake. But since I got into the hospital until the day I left that job, Nobody ever treated me in a fake way. Nobody ever talked shit behind my back because I could have known. Because people speak, words have ears. So I learned the value of friendship in that area, in that place, in that hospital, in that mental asylum, right? Yeah. So I learned the value of friendship financially. Even just somebody big there, somebody just needs someone to talk to. People go through a lot of shit, man. Men, us men, we go through a lot of things. We might not have anyone to talk to. So I had someone to talk to. We were friends, right? So those are the guys that I could have considered that were some of my real friends, throughout this journey of life, right? So those are the lessons I learned working in a mental asylum, aka rehabilitation center. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe, leave a like on the video, leave a comment on future videos, and all nation out. Peace.